think we know exactly what's going on and where we've been and what we got, what we're hauling.
Yeah.
So, man, look at this guy. He sits there and,
Dude.
Warren and I are sitting over here. Our mics aren't long enough to reach the James Gang
I've
pizza
got
over there.
both James Gang pizzas over. Not one, but two. I got both of them.
Yeah.
Right in front of me, and you guys are looking
That's gonna change.
Yeah, this is what happens. You leave the fat kid with the pizza.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, let's move on. Let's get away from this Mansfield thing.
well, and I agree, but I just, it's something I had to bring up.
Bottom line is the guy's an idiot,
Absolutely.
and
you
doesn't
guys
deserve
want
to be a track
hit us
promoter.
up on the Swears Trucking Chat line. Love to hear what you guys are thinking. What your opinions of this out there.
Jerry Schramm, Heather Boyce,
Well,
Mickey Gamble,
And we'll make it happen. We'll talk with
Chris Knopfzinger.
At least one
If
of
you're
them.
out there, tell us what you think, because I'm sure you guys are listening right now. Wait, never mind. Jerry's not listening because he said he doesn't listen to the show.
Jerry's a liar. Jerry, I said that in good fun, but we know you're fibbing.
Well, I did a couple of laps at Speedway here, Wilamette Speedway here. I think it was about 3 years ago. Chris was out there, and I had a couple of girls with me that wanted to go around Wilamette Speedway.
So he took him around the grader.
And I took them out in my car, but I don't. They were disappointed because I'd only do like 30 miles an hour.
God, I hope
wasn't
Jerry's not listening right now.
Well, it was with
Just kidding.
total respect. I went out there and I
showed
took
him
it nice
what-
and slow
yeah.
and went and showed him how big the track was, and I wasn't sliding around or doing anything
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
And everything was cool. So,
Yeah.
but
That's being
That was a while
responsible.
back. Yeah.
Well, I think we've all done that at some point. I know I've done it. I've taken Sandy around the track.
Well, Claire, I used to go out there at nighttime, and Claire would let me go around the track,
Yeah.
but responsibly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, he worked for Claire for a while.
Yeah.
So.
You've got to be intelligent about everything we do at the racetrack. You've got to be intelligent about it, because really what it comes down to is this ding-dong right there just put a black eye on dirt racing, period.
Absolutely.
And
Because-
what I did, it's going to stop anybody from having that opportunity to show somebody what the track's all about.
Exactly.
It's just going to black eye for the sport.
It is across the board.
Yep.
East to west, north to south. That's a bad thing, but yeah, you're right. Let's move on.
All right.
Other national news. I thought I found something interesting here was Kevin Weaver. You guys are familiar with Kevin Weaver, longtime dirt name on the. Kevin Weaver's been around. He's at the top levels of
Oh
dirt
yeah,
model racing.
Yeah.
And we're going back to the Tampa days. UMP. The big sanctioning bodies. National Dirt Racing Association. It's a top name.
Yeah.
And he made an announcement. He will not be running any more Lucas Oil events for the rest of the year. And this is why. And I thought this was an interesting piece because of the discussion we had with Justin Duty 2 weeks ago when Justin called in. Okay. Justin mentioned that he chose one sanctioning body over the other. And why did he choose that sanctioning body? Look at Warren. Look at this. He's trying to get to the James Gang Pizza, and his headset is barely reaching, and the mic's all stretched out.
I'm tight-lined all the way over here. I guess I got me a piece.
I love it. So Justin chose the World of Outlaws over the Lucas Oil.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some reasons in cost. Okay? There was some reasons in the cost and why he chose that series. Kevin Weaver says he's not going to run any more Lucas Oil because of the cost of what it takes to make your car legal for that series. And he said specifically it was in safety. Now, the one thing Justin brought up was the seats. You know how you had to have this rated seat, and it was $2,500 to $3,000. Weaver is a two-car team. They typically run two cars. That's $3,000 per car, he was saying, to upgrade to those standards to run that series. He didn't say specifically it was a seat or whatever, but he did say that that was the reason. So an extra $6,000 just to get the cars legal, that's a good chunk of change for anybody that doesn't have a major sponsorship on the car. He's been showing up at the track right now with no sponsors on the car.
Okay. I'm going to say it,
and I'm going to agree with you.
I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm sorry if I offend someone, but this is my personal opinion. If you can't afford to put a $3,000 seat in your race car for safety, you shouldn't be on that series.
Or maybe run a street stock.
Well,
or something lower class.
I mean,
but here's the thing.
I'm being honest here.
No, I agree with you.
Right. You're not going to see some knucklehead go out in a cup car and complain about a seat that they have to put or a specified window net. If you're on that level of racing,
And that's
Get
the key.
Equipment.
That's the key right there. If you're on that level, and I agree with
That's
everything
why I
you
said
just
go
said.
to a lower level.
Right. I agree with that. But here's the other thing, too. If you don't have sponsors on your car, like Kevin doesn't right now, Kevin is a very, very talented driver.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Very
And
talented.
I'm not saying that he's not a good driver. I'm not saying he's not a talented driver.
Been around forever, but he doesn't have the major sponsorship you're seeing on the top drivers in the country right now. That alone is preventing him from getting that done. So, I go back to what you're saying. I don't race at that level. Anybody that racing outside of their means shouldn't be racing at that level, period.
Exactly.
You know?
Which is 90% of them.
But right.
I'm joking.
But I thought
it's
it was
serious.
interesting to see a name such as Kevin Weaver, who is a big name in the dirt world, say, hey, listen, this is why we're not doing Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
And I'm not slamming Lucas Oil by
No.
any means. I'm
No.
simply saying this is the reason he gave, which, I mean, to me was interesting because he's always had money behind him. He's always been a top contender. He's a very talented one. He's won hundreds of features against the best of the best, Bloomquist, Moyer, Moran, Freddie Smith. I mean, that was the era that he was really big in. And he's still talented.
Here, this one just in from one of our street stock drivers. Of all,
I meant no
of
offense.
All, of all people.
And look at that. That is a young driver.
I'm not going to name this name, but this is a young, up-and-coming driver that's sitting here, and they're saying, if you cannot afford proper safety equipment, you shouldn't be racing.
Right.
And this is coming from someone who is newer to our sport.
Right. I'll say it, Mackenzie Lockhart. And I think it's a great point.
She's got a good head on her shoulders.
That kid,
she really does.
Absolutely. And I agree with, I mean, there's no excuse for safety, not having safety in your car. If you're going to go out and run a car that's unsafe, you might as well go to Mansfield on a Tuesday night and get in a truck.
At 10 o'clock at night.
I mean, it's the same thing. But the thing that surprised me the most was the fact that it was a big name that said it. I can understand if it's a young guy that's, trying to do it on his own with no sponsors. But it's different when you have, a championship driver, a driver that's ran. I mean, he's been, contenders in the World 100 and the Hillbilly 100 and the North South and the Topless and these.
Well, and here's the thing too, Corey. Take this a step farther, and maybe I'm reading into this. He's a big name. He's a championship driver. He's been around since the dawn of time, almost as long as Warren.
There's a reason I'm this old.
Why does he not have a major corporate sponsor?
Good question.
Is there an underlying factor going on here that we don't know? I mean, what's really going on? Warren, are you seriously going for more pizza?
He's killing it.
Dude, I haven't even gotten one piece yet.
That's because it's out of your reach.
See, now listen.
I can barely get to
Here's
it.
the thing, though. If this was, another, like, say, Pizza Hut or Domino's,
Yeah, we wait till
I'd let you
break
have
or-
that. I'd let you have it all. I
You'd
wouldn't
put
care.
it in reach.
Since it's James Gang, you might get hockey checked here next
Yeah.
time you go for a piece. I'm just saying.
Oh, jeez. But no,
That's another thing I thought was interesting was, here's the guy that sponsorship at the corporate level right now is so hard to get. I mean,
well, especially with the economy the way it is. I mean, it all boils down to,
we all know what it takes
Exactly.
to race at that level on a series like that. I mean,
when you start talking, you look at the whole economy, and I've studied economics and all that other fun stuff, and what it all boils down to is the industry that Buzz Mitchell, of all people, is in.
Mm-hmm.
Farming.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to corn prices are down, soybean prices are down, wheat prices are down.
that affects everything.
Those are your three main cash crops, and that affects everything. That affects the fuel in your car, the bread you eat, the pasta prices, and
everything on your table.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that drives our economy. So when I start seeing $3 and $4
Especially local economy.
exactly, when I start seeing $3 and $4 wheat prices, when I start seeing annual ryegrass going for less than 20 cents a ton.
That's what the farmers are getting paid, and they're turning around selling it for 10 times that.
Exactly. And that was, what on my road trip I spent a lot of time in wheat country, and I understand why there's no corporate sponsorship and why it's declining. It's because of, you can tell with the economy what's going on.
Yeah, and then you look at where the corporate sponsorship is coming from now, and it's not just race products. I mean, we're seeing some weird sponsors.
Monster Energy.
Which is, I mean, do they even need to advertise anymore? I mean, it's the biggest energy drink on the planet. Well, at least here in America. Red Bull's the other one that kind of started this whole thing. But that being said, I just thought it was kind of weird that Kevin Weaver, of all people, said that, and it was due to safety. And that my first thought was, okay, if you're not going to put the safety in your car, you probably shouldn't be racing that level anyway.
Exactly.
So I just thought it was an interesting deal. And
Joel,
look at this.
what are you doing, Joel?
He can't even wait till commercial, which is coming up here just shortly. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of just the whole thing. You might as well have, I'll say Billy Moyer say something like that, or, Jimmy Owen or something like that, because it's the same category of driver, the upper echelons.
Yeah.
But there's no sponsor on the car, and he says, hey, look, we don't have the $6,000 to do it.
Well,
then you go do something else.
I agree with McKenzie 100%.
Without a doubt.
You just
Without a doubt.
You have to do something else.
So speaking of World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil, kind of looking around, I just noticed this week that the Lucas Oil, Thursday, tomorrow, MAV TV, 3 o'clock our time, they will be televised. I forgot what track it was. You have to have you look that up widescreen, but
Can't a guy get a dang pizza break around here?
No. If I can't eat pizza, I'm going to make sure you can't. So,
well, you don't need to.
But do you guys tune in to watch the Lucas Oil on TV?
Oh, I do all the
on
time.
MAV TV.
I totally would if I got MAV.
You don't get MAV?
No, I don't get MAV.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. So,
DirecTV and I don't get along.
well, I've got it, and I watch it, and I'll tell you right now, it is so much more exciting than NASCAR. Isn't it, Warren?
Yeah. Oh, you caught me off guard there, didn't you?
Oh, gosh.
That was with intent.
It wasn't
Yeah,
with intent.
yeah,
Yes,
you got me.
It was. I know. And then...
No, I'm still a NASCAR fan. I don't care what you say.
I know, well,
okay.
that's his deal.
Before we go any farther, I just have to say one thing.
Oh, God.
Can we please leave the NASCAR out of this show?
I would love to leave NASCAR out of this show.
I am still in mourning.
We're giving Mansfield Speedway all this time.
I am
we can't even
dirt
say
track
NASCAR.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, I'm still in mourning over the announcement this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
know.
is what it is. You know,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
thought-
but Junior
He
always
says,
said...
both you guys just said, let's not talk about NASCAR, and what do? You roll right into it.
He brought it up, so... and it sucks. I'll tell you right now, that sucks for NASCAR.
That
That is... now, did you guys... Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I got the Jetstream Monday morning. I turned the TV on, and I'm scrolling through, and it says NASCAR racing. I thought, NASCAR racing? I didn't realize they rained out. I don't watch NASCAR. I didn't realize they rained out the day before, and they were racing on Monday.
Yeah.
So I tuned it in, and I watched honestly, all of about 6 laps at Bristol, which clicks off pretty quick. And I'll tell you what I watched. I was looking at the grandstands.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Okay.
that, too. Well,
Now-
it was a Monday race, mind you. A lot of people had to go home and go back to work.
Regardless, 10 years ago, Bristol on a Monday would have been packed up tight. We know this. When you're not packing Bristol, which is considered, I mean, it really is one of the most action-packed
All right, if
tracks.
this is the way this conversation is going to go, we need to get back to dirt track racing.
No, I'm just saying the state of NASCAR right now being what it is and losing, okay, but last year they lost Tony Stewart. Okay?
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon retired.
And now you're losing.
Now you're losing Junior. Those are your top 3 names in the game that have left in 2 years. Your grandstands are already having enough time. And you have a hard time people in now. What are they going to do?
Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards gone. Junior
I
has
know I'm
won.
starting to see a trend here.
Junior has won most popular driver 14 consecutive years, and I'll guarantee he wins it again this year.
Yep.
15 years in a row. The only other driver to ever win it that many times, I believe, is Bill Elliott. Okay? In the last 30 years, you've had like
Awesome Bill.
2 or 3 most popular drivers, and most of them are Junior and Bill Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay? Now, when NASCAR loses Junior, that is bad for your sport. That's like dirt track losing Bloomquist. I mean, really.
Or the Moyers.
Absolutely. You're losing one of your top names.
Exactly.
But then
It's not going to help the sport, that's for darn sure.
It's not. So I was actually...
But you got to respect his getting out at 41 years old.
Here's the thing, though. If you
hand.
follow Junior over the years, he's always said he didn't see himself past the age of 45 running at Cup. You know, he said he'd go run local late model
He
stuff.
got married last year.
Right.
Everything's going to change.
He talked about his injury. He said, I saw an interview saying that, you know, if he thought he couldn't do this, he's not going to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So missing 18 races last year, having the concussion, it puts a thought in your head, going back to safety, and you know, I get where he's coming from.
Well, I would be willing to bet he's going to be in the broadcast booth, so he will maintain.
Well, and I still-
he'll maintain a large fan base in that aspect.
Absolutely correct, and I don't think that he's going to leave the game completely. He'll still be an owner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
JR
Yeah,
Motors,
he's going to be
He's
there.
still going to be a talent acquisition guy because he's the one that